Well, next we turn to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Judges at the International Criminal Court have awarded damages worth $10 million to children recruited by the jailed Congolese warlord Thomas Lubanga. The first man to be tried by the ICC in 2012, Mr. Lubanga was found guilty of abducting boys and girls, some as young as 11. Boys were forced to fight and girls were used as sex slaves. Mr. Lubanga has been held personally liable for the compensation, which will be administered by a trust fund and spent on a project to help victims. Well, for more on that, I'm joined by Vava Tampa, who is the founder of the campaign group Save the Congo. Thank you for coming in to speak to us. This court had a difficult task because how do you put a price on such human suffering? They had 425 victims, but the court has come back and said that the suffering that they experienced is about $8,000 worth. Can you really put a price on that kind of thing?
Look, the very fact is no amount of money could be proportionate to the crimes which Lubanga committed against the Congolese people and the Congolese nations. That is a fact. What the court has done, and the reason I'm incredibly supportive of this move, it's really, really simple. This is the first time, for the first time ever, that the court has essentially taken an act or done an act of social justice. And what matters for many Congolese have spoken to on this issue is that those people responsible are arrested first, brought to justice and tried and convicted. That the court has awarded them $10 million. That is a welcome move, and the Congolese state in years to come would build on that.
So certainly a symbolic gesture, but Lubanga himself has no money to speak of, so the court says. So he won't be able to pay this money. Where will it come from? And he hasn't actually apologized or admitted to these charges, has he?
Well, there is two issues here. One is that the Congolese regime in place at the moment has essentially refused to do an audit on what Lubanga also has in Congo. So that's a key element. But crucially also, these convictions actually brings us to a critical issue, which is if Lubanga has been arrested, and Lubanga indeed ought to be arrested and convicted, but Lubanga did not drop from the blue sky over Ituri or from the velvet green forest of Ituri. Lubanga was created, he was made, he was armed, he was trained, he was given soldiers. And what happens to Lubanga's boss? That is the key element. And we know these people, some of them are in government in Kigali, some of them are in government in Kampala, some of them are in the political family in Kinshasa.
So is Lubanga then becoming a scapegoat for the ills of many?
No, I wouldn't say a scapegoat per se, but the actual reality is that one of the reasons the crimes continue to be committed in Congo and against the Congolese people is because people most responsible for those crimes who are in government in Kinshasa and Kampala and in Kigali are not brought to justice. And that's a key element. Until we resolve and until we deal with that key element, nothing is going to change. And one of the key persons in the discussions is the current president of Congo, Kabila, whose mandate has came to an end last year but continue to cling to power by force. He's another one who needs to be brought to justice. And until that is done, disappointingly, this all would continue to be seen as a scapegoating.
Oh, and again, these are allegations that need to be tried in court. But thank you very much for joining us with your views. Vava Tampa, founder of Save the Congo.